Let's settle into this truth because it's really simple. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, and you are giving life to things that should be dead. Which is why you have ghosts haunting you 24/7. You can't get any rest, and you're wondering, why do I have to battle all of these things? It's because you are making them known. You are giving them the attention that they desire, that they want. And at this point, it's time to cut the cord. So, let's quit giving life to the wrong things and start giving life to the things that we truly desire within our life. But first, before we get into all of that stuff, I have to introduce myself. Hello, hello. I am Samantha, your witchy host of the House of Magic, where we magically transform ourselves into our best selves. If you are a first-time watcher, hello, welcome. I hope that you join the coven and become a witch and or warlock. If not, if you have been a consistent watcher, you are a part of the coven, I want to say welcome back, witch, or welcome back, warlock. It is so good to have you here for another spell casting session. Today, I already mentioned the title. It is Quit Giving Life to the Wrong Things. Now, I have learned this from experience, and it was definitely a hard lesson that I had to learn. But once I learned it, the power that I was able to have was just amazing. And guess what? You can have this amazing power too. We're not here to gatekeep. We're not here to judge. So, I need you to get your modern or ancient spell book. I have mine in the background, as always. And I also need you to have your modern or ancient wand, okay? Now, we're holding a semi-ancient. It's a little bit modernized, but we've had it for quite a while. Wand, but whatever you choose to have, whatever you choose to use, that is all up to you in the end. So, now that we have all of the pleasantries out of the way, we can now get into lesson 1, which is the witches and the warlocks. They know their power. Now, I don't know if you have ever heard someone say life and death is in the power of the tongue. For me, this was something that I grew up on so much, so often. I would hear my mom say, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And it didn't really click what she was saying up until maybe high school. But I did take what she said seriously. I avoided like the plague to say anything that was negative about myself. I never wanted to say that I was dumb. It just hurts to say it. It hurts because I never wanted to ever say that about myself. Now, did I have a dumb moment? Did I really not think a certain moment or situation through? Yes, that is a part of the human experience. You make mistakes. You have an oopsie moment. But never did I want to make that whole moment a character flaw about me. So I have one dumb moment, and now all of a sudden I'm supposed to be dumb. Are you out of your mind? Absolutely not. I'm not pinning that on me. You can try to pin it on me. However, for me, my slate is clean. It has all positive vibes to it. And you can't bring down those vibes, okay? So what I would just say is, again, I would say I had a kind of oopsie moment. Oh, well, now I learned, and guess what? I'm even better as a human being because I have learned from this experience. We want that kind of mindset because we know what would happen if we tell ourselves, oh, I'm so, we don't ever want to speak those words and bind them onto us. Because when we bind them onto us, now they are a part of us. And it takes a lot of unbinding, a lot of work to get that connection to snap. And if we don't bind it, then we don't have to put in that work from the get-go, okay? Stay with me here. Stay with me. So we know that whenever we're speaking about ourselves, even when we're speaking about others, we try our best to understand and be gracious. Maybe they were having a bad day. Maybe they kind of had a bad experience before they met me, and this is kind of their way of releasing that energy by lashing out on to me. You just kind of have to brush it off. Look, you know that you had good intentions. You weren't trying to do it to gain something. You were just doing it out of the kindness of your heart. And they did not give you your flowers, which is okay, okay? Let's let Mother Karma figure that out and we continue about our day. But we understand that our words are essentially spells. They transform our perspective, and that transforms our world, whether you want to admit it or not. If we can at least control the perspective that we have of ourselves, of our world, let's have a positive spin to it. Let's be honest, there is a whole lot of negative crap that we see on the internet, in person, just everywhere. You hear so many things on the news, so many things just everywhere. It's just nonstop. At the very least, allow your environment to be a safe haven. Allow your mindset about yourself be a safe haven. Don't let it be a war zone, because then you're not giving yourself rest at all. Know your power. So for example, let's just say that you have been fumbling the bag from the time that you woke up to the time where you're going to bed, and you're going, oh my gosh, today has been a horrible day. I woke up late, I slept through my alarm, I had to go through traffic, I did X, Y, and Z. I can definitely understand that frustration. No one wants to be late. No one reasonable wants to be late for anything. You want to show someone that you respect their time, show them that by being on time. Different story. Anyway, I like to think of it as this. I get there when I am meant to be there. And I know that might sound crazy to some people. They're going, well, I wanted to be there on time. Obviously, we had that intent. Of course we did. However, I also like to think of it as this. I think that the universe, God, whoever you believe in, that they were doing this because they wanted to protect me from something. They wanted me to avoid a certain situation. I don't ever try to look at it as a hindrance. I look at it more so as a benefit for me. Oh, will this happen? Okay, well, it's allowing me to be at the right place, at the right time, with the right people. That is the way that you just have to see it. I know it can get very frustrating, but at the same time, if you are to ever think or even hear of moments where someone was running late, they were going behind schedule, a lot of things were just happening that were delays, and then you find out that they were able to miss something substantial, then you go, oh wow, well, obviously those events added up so that they can miss this huge moment that they avoided. Think of it that same way for you. You're thinking that it's an inconvenience for you. However, you're not thinking that it's a benefit towards you. And again, this is about you knowing your power, your understanding that your words are so powerful that they create an amazing perspective or a horrible perspective. You just got to learn how to adjust. Either you adjust or the world makes you adjust. You got to figure it out. So remember, please, you, my witch, you, my warlock, you, my coven, have the power, and at the very least, you know your power. And this kind of transitions into lesson number 2. You know the power that your words have. You know what can happen if you repeat a certain sentence or a certain phrase many, many times. It soon just becomes a thought pattern that automatically clicks. I think I mentioned this in my previous video, but again, when it comes to your brain, you have neurons. Crazy, I know, right? But these neurons create neural pathways. And the more that you do something, the stronger this neural pathway becomes. And soon your brain can eventually make shortcuts because it's become such a habit that it already can predict what it thinks is going to happen. It's the same thing with your thoughts, same thing with behaviors, okay? When you are harboring a negative perspective, we'll say, a negative thought, or better yet, you're reliving something that was a negative experience in general. Let's just say that you were dealing with a very toxic friendship and you just continuously decide to replay those experiences that you encountered throughout the toxic friendship. And then you're wondering, well, why do I feel drained? Why do I feel just so tired? Hello? Who would want to relive any traumatic experience? No one. No one wants to relive that. And yet you are harboring that. You're carrying that energy with you. When you're going back into your mind to retrieve that horrible experience, your brain is not going, oh yes, I remember that experience, yes, and just this experience alone. No. If you've listened to a song, and let's just say there was a super happy memory to it, now whenever you hear that song, you might automatically go towards that happy memory. And if it was a sad memory, you automatically go to that memory. I'll use my example. There is a particular song by Celine Dion. I had never heard it until this one instance. It was at a funeral. It was a beautiful love song, mind you. It is a gorgeous song, and I think without the funeral being in this whole concoction, I think I would be able to really listen to the song and truly enjoy it. However, because of where I heard it and just the setting in general, whenever I hear that song, it just brings me back to that funeral. And I just can't listen to it. Even though it seems like a beautiful song, I am sure some people have used it for their wedding. I can't do it. It's the same thing. When you are reliving all of those traumatic experiences, you are bringing the thoughts that you had during that time, the emotions that you were feeling all that time, everything. And who wants to relive that? Who wants to feel that pain, that suffering? It's just no one who is sane wants to experience all of that over again. Even though you want to avoid it, even though you do these things to not be in that situation again, you are choosing to relive that experience by keeping it in your mind on replay whenever. I'm telling you right now, that's not benefiting you. It's definitely not benefiting the person who you were wanting to get rid of, or at least got rid of. All it does is just increase your pain and suffering. And who wants to increase their pain and suffering? Raise your hand. Everyone raise your hand if you want to increase your pain and suffering. You hear how the room is silent. That's because no one wants pain and suffering. Just a hot take, I don't know. So just put it into a file. Rather than being a VHS tape that you just can continuously rewind, play, pause, play, rewind, pause, play, rewind, pause. We're going to just stop the cycle in general. We're going to put it in a file and go, all right, this was the past, bam, move on. I know this is an exercise that I personally have started to do recently, and maybe this can help you transition from harboring onto things to just being able to now let it go easily. Whenever there is an instance that really annoys me, I tell myself, cut, we're moving on. It's the next scene. We gotta go. We don't have the budget for this. We don't have the budget to continuously move on and do all that stuff. And me personally, it works because it causes my mind to have an abrupt ending and it goes, oh, what? It helps me bring myself into the present moment rather than going back into my mind and relaying that video over and over again. If you feel yourself kind of harboring an emotion or specifically harboring a specific experience, just try to tell yourself, cut, we got the scene, let's move on from here. Because then that kind of just allows you to move on. You're not really sitting in that mode. Let it go. As best as you can, let it go. Cut it. Do whatever. And this brings me to lesson number 3, which is in order to fly, you need to get rid of any anchor that's going to keep you on the ground. Again, everyone has gone through traumatic moments. People might have gone through something that was mild, and to other people, they have gone through something that was extreme. Or you might perceive it as mild. However, for someone else, that would be the worst thing on earth for them to experience. Regardless, it depends on the person. It depends on who you are for you to kind of overcome that trauma. Everyone's journey is different, and yet we all manage to make it to the same destination. It is not a race. It's not who gets over their trauma first. A way for you to stop giving it life is by allowing it to finally have its rest. Those people who did you wrong, give them rest. You holding a grudge does nothing on that individual. It just hurts you. When you do not release that, and at the very least forgive them, even if they did you dirty, they did you wrong, they were a horrible person to you, release that. You're releasing the energy, you're releasing everything that came along with that incident. And I don't hold it against them because I think, one, I've let them go. They're not in my life, so I don't have to deal with it, first of all. Second of all, I think to myself, they have helped me improve in a way by learning a lesson, and I shall take it, cherish it, keep it, but remove them. Keep them removed. You really need to learn how to be able to release those people. They are an anchor. Whether you want to forgive them or not, they are an anchor. Sometimes you can get that conclusion with that individual. You can speak to them, and whether or not they agree with you or if they can understand their actions, their behavior, what they did, and apologize for it, that depends. But there are other times where you don't get that conclusion. You kind of have to receive it on your own terms. Whatever you have to do, I really hope that you are able to help yourself, relieve yourself from that stress, from that energy, from that anchor by releasing the chain, by breaking the chain. The release that you will feel as a result of you putting in that work and breaking that chain, breaking that anchor, indescribable. If you want to comment that, I guess that could be the word of the week or the word for this video. Amazing. You can comment it if you like, if you've made it this far. Whenever you see people who, I'll be honest, they look miserable, they seem miserable, their energy just feels miserable, I truly think that's because they haven't released all those anchors that allow them to be free. They say they've released them, they really haven't. They say they've worked on it. You see a chip, barely, an artificial chip at best. So just to give a quick summary, we know the power of our words. We know the power that we hold. And we also know that harboring those emotions, those experiences that we are now giving life to when they should be given rest, just allows us to carry that energy within us, and now we have to release that in our own way, and it's just way too much. We know that in order to go up, in order to be free and to fly, we need to break and release everything that is keeping us to the ground. And would you look at that? Time has flown by so fast, so much. I mean, that kind of happens when you're in a spell casting session. You just get whipped up in the magic. But that is all for today's spell casting lesson. I hope that you have enjoyed this lesson. If you have made it this far, I would love to see the crystal emoji. And before I part, I would like to say this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. You can like, you can subscribe, you can comment, but until then, stay bewitched. Bye!